We want to know how is your experience with Abbas Rana. As you can see, you have a good practice pool with Abbas Rana. How is your experience with Delhi boys?
Yeah, the Delhi club invited me over. I got to group up with Abbas that day, and sanjay deswal as well. I don't think Siddhant was there that day. No, he was there that day. I apologize. Siddhant was there that day as well. So gripping them, I mean, Abbas that day was the standout for me in terms of who impressed me most, given his age at the time. I think he was 15 when I gripped him or something, maybe 16 or whatever it was. Um, he is incredibly strong. That club I see have. So I saw both Abbas and Siddhant in Mumbai in late October last year at Asians. I didn't get to group up with them, but I could see that they had developed substantially. In a muscular sense, they were bigger than they were when I grouped up with them. Um, I see that their curls, I see their bench press, I see a lot of big lifts going on. Now, one thing, however, and this is something that I've learned in my experience in my 13 years so far, and it took about until year 9 or 10 to learn this lesson, that muscular strength can be trumped by conditioning in the sport. And to put it a little in a different sense, if I had to have a super match and my life depended on it, and I had to face someone who'd been in the sport 20 years but only had 80% of my 1RMs versus someone who's been in the sport 5 years and has 120% of my 1RMs, I would very quickly pick the 5 year guy who's got 120% of my 1RMs. So Abbas, for example, is stronger than me in the gym. Everywhere. His bench crushes me. His bicep curls are ahead of mine. Who knows what else he's probably ahead of mine. But I would feel more confident going against him because um, you can't rush joint conditioning. It's the one thing. Like the only way to get joint conditioning is time in the sport. You have to be very patient. I had a match with Ron Barth in January last year, and uh, I was muscular in a muscular strength sense. I was able to hold Ron at center. I took his wrist slightly. I held him at center for about the first 5 seconds, and then he just leant on his joints, and the match went sideways towards his victory. And I spoke to him after the match, and I asked him when was his peak in the sport in a muscular sense, and when was his peak in the sport in a joint conditioning sense. He said from age about 40 to 45 was his muscular peak. And he said, right now is my joint conditioning peak at 62. So joint conditioning is something that just keeps on adding up over time in years. And so when I think of the Delhi guys, I see they're really strong. They're really, in a muscular sense, they're amazing athletes. But where they're lacking is their joint conditioning, and that's just gonna. They just have to be patient. They just have to be patient. It'll come if they keep arm wrestling. It'll come. But I think Abbas at his age, super promising, but probably still needs some time before he's going to beat a big scalp. Like Mazahir is hard to beat because Mazahir has the hardened joints, he has the conditioning, and it's very difficult. And where the conditioning matters is wrist and elbow, just those two things. Like again, another analogy is if you grip a guy who, let's say, a 20-year veteran and a 5 year veteran have the same 1RMs, when you grip that younger guy, he's going to feel elastic, even though he's got the exact same strength. You grip the 20-year guy, and it feels like a steel bar because his strength is instantaneous through his hand and wrist. And so for someone like Abbas and Siddhant, they can lose rotation. If someone is within their strength zone in a muscular sense, that's got more experience, they'll lose their rotation. So I think they're promising, but I just think they need more time, those guys in Delhi, because they're all very young in the sport.
Exactly. So, as we have heard in bodybuilding that there is a thing called muscle maturity that comes over years of hard work. So, in arm wrestling also, I think you are talking about the maturity of the tendons, the bones, joints,
Yeah.
and the ligaments. That will take time. So one thing you mentioned here that you have seen Abhas, especially after a gap of around an year and a half. And one thing that was quite noticeable was that he has doubled in terms of his musculature. So do you think he is
Yes.
natural?
No.
No.
Sorry, I don't know if I can just throw people under the bus. And I'll qualify that with no, but I don't know. I don't know. No one's told me. But do I think he's natural? No. Sorry. No.
Fair
Pretty
enough.
simple. No.
You can have your opinion. That's okay.
Well, like I said, what you will find is that, look, this is a subject that people can't really openly speak about, and we can appreciate that, and the fans will bang on the door trying to get straight answers, and if you answer straight, then you get in trouble by all the people that say, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing that," and if you answer saying, I'm not on anything," then all the people who know think you're a fool. So you're between a rock and a hard place as an athlete. It's not easy. So, but look, if once you get within the trusted circles of somebody in the sport, they'll tell you. And I promise you, everyone that's elite, they are, everyone that's elite in the male division, everyone that's elite is. And if they say they're not, then they've just note that they've chosen to say they're not. Don't hold it against them though, because they've probably got a wife or a mother that will get them in trouble if they say that they're on.
Exactly. Now, what if they want to grow like Abbas Rana? What they need to do?
If they want to grow like Aabhas Rana, what to do? My goodness, be good friends with a pharmacist. I don't know. But obviously, every strength, whether it's gym strength, arm wrestling strength, is consistency, discipline, patience. That is, but there is, although Abbas is very big, very early, he's obviously got genetics that go with it as well, and he's obviously put in the time. And anyone who's strong, like people will say, here's how I always demonstrate exactly how powerful gear is or isn't. Now, people know that I've been on testosterone I was open about it many years ago, and I still am on testosterone to this day. My right arm is so much stronger, so much bigger than my left. My left arm has had just as much gear as my right. Okay, but my left arm is rubbish. Why? Because my left arm hasn't done the work my right has. So you've still got to do the work. Do not think that taking gear alone is going to make you Aabhas Rana. You have to put in a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of consistent effort in a good way. So if you want to be an Aabhas Rana, train heavy in the gym with good form and be friends with a pharmacist.
Exactly.